401. Erica, could you please do a roll call?
Sure. Chair Bluth,
Here.
Vice Chair Hunter,
Present.
Committee Member Carter's let us know she will be absent. Committee Member Ostavar,
Here.
Committee Member Polly. Committee Member Polly. Okay, I'll go ahead and mark him absent. Committee Member Schmidt.
Here.
And Committee Member Tregenza. Committee Member Tregenza. Okay, I'll go ahead and mark him absent as well, but we do have a quorum. And I'll announce the staff members present. We have Principal Planner Roveri, Senior Associate Planner Schmidt, and myself, Recording Secretary Barrera.
Erica, could you remind the public how to join?
Sure. Members of the public are encouraged to join our meetings via Zoom Gov, a secure service that connects you live with no lag time. This meeting is also streamed live on youtube.com/City of Monterey. There is a 10-second delay. It is also streamed on Comcast channel 25 with up to a 90-second delay. If you would like to provide public comment, please join the meeting using Zoom or by telephone, making sure to join in time to accommodate delays. To join the Zoom meeting from a computer or phone, use the link or phone numbers on the agenda posted at isearchmonterey.org. Since this meeting has started, you'll find the agenda under the Recent tab. To join by telephone, dial 833-568-8864, then enter the webinar ID. Today's webinar ID is 161-914-9563. Once again, the phone number is 833-568-8864. The webinar ID is 161-914-9563. To provide public comment via Zoom, please use the raise your hand function at the bottom of your screen. To provide comments by phone, dial *9 to raise your hand, then *6 to unmute when called upon. Public commenters will be announced using their last 3 phone number digits or the name they've typed into Zoom. Public commenters will be muted until it's their turn to speak. Please turn off your TV or computer speakers or go to another room while connected, as background noise interferes with the broadcast. Public speakers will be called upon in order of hands raised. There is a 3-minute time limit for today's meeting. Please stay within that limit. I do see 4 attendees. There are currently no hands raised.
Thank you, Erica. Since we have no members or who have a comment, is there someone who'd like to make a motion on the minutes? Oh, and we just got Justin in too, by the way.
Okay.
I move to approve the minutes from the May 18th, 2022 meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion by Shelley and seconded by Ed. Any further discussion? Seeing none, can we do a roll call vote, Erica?
Sure. Chair Bluth?
Aye, I did watch the presentation on the Monterey channel, so I will vote aye for that.
Vice Chair Hunter?
Aye.
Committee Member Ostavar?
Aye.
Committee Member Polly?
I'll abstain. I was not present.
Committee Member Schmidt?
Aye.
And Committee Member Tregenza, who is absent. So those minutes are approved as submitted.
Okay, we can move on to comments not on the agenda. Are there any comments? Seeing none, we'll close public comment and move to the first public appearance item, which is consider 700 Lobos Street Architectural Review Permit ARP 220031 for preliminary and final architectural review of exterior alterations, including a new garage door, roof line replacement, windows, 205 square foot addition with new doors, new roof deck above the addition with access to stairs and an existing one-level story dwelling. Do we have a staff presentation?
Yes, thank you, Chair. My name is Chris Schmidt. I'm a senior associate planner with the City of Monterey, and I worked with the applicants on this project. So the staff recommendation is to approve the architectural review permit with conditions of approval. The site is located in the new Monterey neighborhood. It's at the corner of Lobo Street and Prescott Avenue, and it is zoned R1, which is our single family residential neighborhood. Here we see, I apologize that the graphic is small, but I've tried to highlight the location of the addition. It's at the rear of the home. So Lobo Street is at the left-hand side of the plan. Prescott Avenue would be at the bottom. And you can see faintly in the orange there, and I do blow it up on a different slide, the 205 square foot addition with the stair to the deck above. So here's the addition. So generally the applicant is looking to expand the home and expand their bathroom and allow them to have a laundry facility, as well as some just general aesthetic changes. And you can see that expanded bathroom there. Some of the other changes are just general materials changes, and then there's also this roofing change, and it's difficult to see on the existing elevation on the left-hand side, but the existing garage has a hipped gable roof, and they would just be turning it to a front gable. Just some door and window changes, the garage door, front door, and that window would be changed, and they'd also be adding some light fixtures. Here's the rear elevation showing the addition and stair location. The side elevation, and as I mentioned, staff has some conditions of approval, which include plantings for the proposal to screen the addition. So the applicant has added those to the plans, and you can see them here. And I'm sorry that the neighbor is actually calling my cell phone now, so I'll have to call her back maybe during discussion, see if she's having trouble accessing the meeting. And then we have the other side elevation and roof plan. And you can see that deck at the rear would have a tiled roof, tiled decking material. When it would basically serve as also a covered porch for the proposed patio outside of the addition. We have identified impacts. The neighbor to this project requested architectural review committee review of the project. Typically, this sort of project is subject to administrative review. Staff requires the applicants install story poles, and city staff sends notices in the mail. And anyone can refer a project to the committee. So this neighbor at 714 Lobos, Ms. Chastain, has concern for privacy and loss of view of adjacent trees on Prescott Avenue. And I have a couple of photos to show what that impact would be. So here's a view from the project site of the proposed addition. The top of the story poles are basically the top of the deck railing. And then I've highlighted in the back the window that the neighbor has concern that views into her home would be created from this deck. This is a photo from the neighbor's side of the fence that I took from kind of right at the window. And then we have two photos from inside the home. One on the left showing kind of the straight out the window, what the addition would appear to be, and the other is kind of a diagonal look showing where some views of trees would still be maintained. So the neighbor has requested a number of things. I think at this point, she's really asking for any sort of reduction in the project size. I think in the staff report I listed, cutting the addition in half was kind of the biggest ask, but I think at this point she's okay with a 1 or a 2 foot reduction, or even just moving the deck railing itself away 1 or 2 feet would be acceptable as well. In addition, the ideas that we talked about was moving the entire addition from its current location towards Prescott Avenue, which is something that staff was not entirely supportive of just based on the existing floor plan of the home. It would just make it a very different project than proposed today. Moving the deck itself away, similar to the addition, though less impactful. And then landscape screening. And so the applicant here has accepted the condition of landscape screening, and they've incorporated that into their plan. And lastly, the ARC may require revisions or approve as proposed. So here's what the applicant has proposed. They will plant 3 purple hop seed plants directly adjacent to the addition for the purpose of screening. We have purple hop seed down at City Hall. If any of the ARC members have been down recently, there's one right near the rear entrance to the planning office. They're generally nice plants. I don't think that this neighbor loves this type of plant, so I think staff would be open for alternative plantings, or for the ARC to require the applicant to work it out with the type of planting with staff and the neighbor. And then alternatively, I did talk to the neighbor yesterday. She said that she's also willing to do her own plantings. And so it might be appropriate also to consider some sort of condition that would allow the applicant here to either choose or as I mentioned, coordinate with the neighbor on who's going to plant on which side of the property, and staff can work out those final details. And if we can't work those out, I guess we could always bring those back to the ARC if we can't come to an agreement. So in order to approve the project, the ARC has to make 4 findings. So the first being that the proposed siting, form, mass, and architectural style are appropriate. Staff could make this first finding. The project meets the development standards in terms of height, setback, and coverage requirements. The addition is fairly pretty far set back from Prescott Avenue, which is something that we typically like to see with corner lots. The massing is similar in scale to the existing home, and it would generally match the existing. The next finding is that the views, privacy, and living environment are not impaired. We have identified impacts and incorporated conditions to address the privacy concern. And with that condition of approval, staff has found that the project would not unreasonably impair views, privacy, and the living environment. And then the third finding is that the project is consistent with city plans and design guidelines. It is consistent with the general plan, development standards, single family design guidelines, and new Monterey area plan. And then lastly, that the exterior finish, colors, materials, and all of their features are appropriate. Staff was able to make this finding as they proposed would match the existing materials, and other materials would be compatible with this neighborhood. Again, staff's recommendation is to approve with the condition of approval for plantings. I'm going to try to take this call, and perhaps the ARC could facilitate discussion, or if you have questions for me, I can wait for that as well.
I have a quick question for staff. What is the height limit for this particular? How far below the height limit is the top of the rail? Are we well within those guidelines, or?
Yeah, the height limit is generally 2 stories, 25 feet. So for a 1-story addition, that the railing meets the 25 feet. I think it's 15 feet at the lowest grade below.
Okay, and you're allowed to go 2 stories in this?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds like Ms. Chastain did make it on, so.
I had just a clarifying question. Am I reading the east elevation properly? It looks like the railing is taller than the top of the roof. Is that?
It is, can you hear me?
Yes. Am I garbled?
Yeah, you've got a really garbled connection.
Okay, let me see if I can fix that.
To answer your question, yes, it's about a foot over. I can't quite make it out. I can pull it up on the PowerPoint again, but it's about a foot and a couple of inches over.
So let's first see if the applicant would like to make a presentation and then open it to public comment.
Russia Turner? Is it Russia?
Yeah, I still think we're working on Priam's question.
Okay, so to address your question again, so it looks like it's about a 10-inch difference with the ridge being lower than the rail.
So any other questions for Chris on this? So why don't we move on to public comment? Maybe Chris, you could see if you could connect with the neighbor.
I think that we were going to give an opportunity for the applicant to speak, the homeowner.
Oh, okay. Is that person on?
The applicant
Oh.
is online. Russia Turner, I'll go ahead and allow them to talk.
Hi there. My name is Russia Turner, and I am here with my spouse, Steph Anastasia. We're the co-applicants and the co-owners of this home. We have owned this home for 10 years now. It was built in 1953. And when we bought the house 10 years ago, we realized that it's a lovely neighborhood and we're really proud to be homeowners in Monterey. We've built our careers in this area for the past 15 plus years, trying to make sure that we could live here as old ladies. And we bought this house and we realized that there are certain aspects of it that really are unsuitable for elderly people. And we have been saving and saving and saving every dime that we could get our hands on over the past 10 years with the aim that we would eventually be able to carry out some renovations that would make our home suitable for us to be able to age in place. And what we found is that the bathroom is in dire need of renovation. The idea is that we would like to go from a very awkward pedestal type of sink and a tub and turn that into a shower that has a zero entry, so that as elderly people, we will be able to get in and out of the shower without any problems. Our laundry is in our garage, and that involves some steps down into the garage. And we felt that in addition to being an inconvenience for us currently, it does become a safety issue for us as we get older. So the aim of this project is to resolve some of the issues that we have with this house that would prevent us from being able to age gracefully and stay in our home. So our goal is to create this addition so that we would be able to have our storage space inside the house for things that are currently being stored up in our attic. We wanted to be able to have the laundry inside the home so that we could mitigate any safety issues that will pose to us in the future. And the remodel of the bathroom is a really significant problem for us that we want to be able to resolve with this renovation. And we really want to be sympathetic to the imposition that this places on our neighbor. And we're very eager and very willing to implement any type of landscaping options that could preserve our neighbor's sense of privacy. The deck railing that we have chosen is a hog wire type deck railing. The aim behind that was that it would allow us to grow vines on the deck railing to further enhance the privacy that our neighbor is concerned about. It would also make the greenery and the lushness of that deck railing something that would make up for some of the loss that our neighbor is feeling with regard to the visibility of some of the trees that are in the neighborhood. And so just in conclusion, we're very eager to work with Ms. Chastain to find a way for her to feel that her privacy is being purposefully protected. We feel that the scope of this project is as small as it could possibly be and still fix the problems that we have with our almost 70-year-old house. And so just in closing, we're eager to be cooperative with our neighbor so that this project can move forward in a way that preserves her sense of privacy and preserves her sense that she's got this lush greenery outside of her window that she can focus on. And if anyone had any questions for us about the nature of this project, we would certainly be eager to field those questions and clarify any details. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share this information with you all.
Thanks, Rusha. Does anybody on the committee have any questions for Rusha?
I had a quick question regarding the planting, if you can hear me better now, I hope.
Yep.
Great. It was mentioned that there might be alternates being provided. I'm just curious if any of those are specifically identified at this time.
We have been doing some research on options that would exist. We don't have our heart set on any one particular option. The hot bush was one that we found was really suitable for the fact that they grow really fast. They get pretty big pretty fast. They're available to purchase from the nurseries already in quite a large size. So we felt that that would be something that would give a lot of screening really quickly. And so there are some that we've been looking at recently that they're already 8 feet tall, and that would put them well above the fence line and blocking out quite a bit of the addition right from the get-go. And then of course they grow so fast that within a year that the whole addition is going to be basically covered by these hot bushes. That said, that was the logic behind that choice, was the fact that it's a good screen for this area. It's suitable for our climate and for the salt air that we have, and they grow really fast. But we would be open to other ideas. We just want to find something that will make our neighbor feel that we've heard her concerns and that we've tried to do our very best to make sure that her concerns are addressed as we try to move forward with things.
Any other questions? Okay, maybe no more. Can we why don't we move to public comment? Erica, maybe you could remind public how to get in touch, and at the same time, Chris, maybe you could try to get back in touch with the neighbor.
She is no longer online, but I'll remind the public how to participate. Once again, members of the public are encouraged to join our meetings via Zoom Gov, a secure service that connects you live with no lag time. To join the Zoom meeting from a computer or phone, use the link or phone numbers on the agenda posted at isearchmonterey.org. To join by telephone, dial 833-568-8864, then enter the webinar ID. Today's webinar ID is 161-914-9563. Once again, the phone number is 833-568-8864. The webinar ID is 161-914-9563. To provide public comment via Zoom, please use the raise your hand function at the bottom of your screen. To provide comments by phone, dial *9 to raise your hand, then *6 to unmute when called upon. Public commenters will be announced using their last 3 phone number digits or the name typed into Zoom.
Thanks, Erica. Looks like Chris has gone out to try to call the neighbor. Why don't we wait a little while, see how that goes?
Sure. I don't see any other hands raised. There are 4 attendees. We have 2 applicants for this project. I think the other attendees might be for the other project. The neighbor was online, but I don't know if she had a connection issue. She's, oh, okay.
Why don't we give it a couple minutes, and then if she doesn't succeed, I think Chris has tried his best to articulate some of the concerns that she had. But let's just see if she can make it in. So Fernanda, do you think we should move on, or? I think she would have been able to dial in. Oh, she's in. Great.
Okay, I'll go ahead and allow her to talk.
Thanks, Erica.
Okay. Asked her to unmute.
Hello.
Hello, would you like to provide a comment?
Yes, who am I speaking to? Is this Russia?
No, this is Bob Bluth. I'm the chair of the Architectural Review Committee.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you for letting me
Nope.
speak. I apologize.
Perfect.
At the doctor's with a broken leg. Yes, I have listened in, starting with the height, I believe, of the railing. Is that correct? The railing
I think staff mentioned
of
it
the
was
project?
10 inches above the roof line.
Right, exactly. And so I don't think I missed too much, but I would like to respond to Russia's comment. Overall, I've enjoyed having them as neighbors. You are actually speaking with an old lady, and I do recognize the situations within the home, although those do not really affect me in any way. Their bathroom, their garage, their steps. I find it interesting because the things that they're talking about in the home, which don't really concern us really, are the things I'm struggling with now. Yes, it is because our houses were apparently built by the same architect or the same, I don't know if they had an architect with these houses, but definitely by the same builder. And so I'm aware of the floor plan. Yes, I'm sure, I need to do the steps in my front. I need to expand the bathroom for my living space and my safety. I'm glad to know that we have an attic. I didn't know that. I've lived here 10 years. It's my mother's home since 60 something. And I am struggling with that. What I find interesting, I'm interested to know, because I would like to build a deck, how they're going to get up the stairs. There seem to be quite a few of them. But as an old lady, I sympathize with them in the future, and I'm interested only in, to be, I guess, semi-direct. What they do within their home is really none of my business. And what I'm interested in is protecting the space that I do have within my home. And that's what I'm struggling with now. I have a broken leg in 3 places, and I'm 70 something. I can't even want to say it. 78. And what I'm interested in protecting is the space in my back room. I guess I should call it a great room that has been added on. That's the only thing that's been added on in the back, and I get sunlight through there. And eventually, I'm going to probably have to move into there. I have a lot of health problems to include cancer, health, blah, 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 blah. You don't want to hear those. And I don't want to talk about it. So what I'd like to do is preserve what sun I get and what privacy I get. And I think those are basically, at least the privacy and sun, I think are basically kind of venues that or areas that we all would like to protect for our joy in living. And so what I find is that the deck especially is a little too far as well. I just think the project is kind of ludicrous, frankly, for 2 want to be, soon to be old ladies if they don't have an elevator. But since they want to do this, and they've been saving and pinching pennies on and on, and have already put in some bushes that they said that I wanted, which I don't. Those are the ugliest bushes. I think they're, red rat death, the death bushes, and they're already growing. They will impinge the light that I have on my mother's 60-year-old roses. I would like to put in something. I definitely would like their input, and I haven't planted anything yet. However, let's go back to the deck. Whatever I can do to have that deck lessened, whether that be the railing or the length of the deck, however they want to do it, or the width of the deck would really help the sunlight coming in to my window. That's it. The shrubs are already 6 foot high, and they are, as I said, red rat ugly, although they're everywhere. And I don't know what they'll do with them. Maybe putting the other side would be a good idea. I can't imagine why they haven't put something over near Prescott. It's so noisy. But anyway, that's my input. I was thinking about maybe putting some trellises either from the house to the fence and have a little, pathway with vines up it, but that will block my sun. Or I was thinking about putting, just some straight trellises up and putting a passion vine and some other stuff on it. That sounds really nice, what they're doing with the deck. And with that trellis and ivy, and the, probably jasmine or passion vines. They're the planters and growers. Boy, that they have a backyard that's fabulous, and chickens and everything. And I want to also thank you in closing. So that's kind of what I want. I'm going to have to be doing some things too, like they're doing. And I think they've given me some good ideas. I just tried to get up the stairs. Anyway, you guys are much younger, so good luck with 78. I want to thank you for feeding my cats. You were above and beyond duty. And I want to send you a card. And I know you don't eat sweets, so I'll send you something healthy. That's probably why you can get up your stairs. Anyway, in passing, that's what I'd like, just to have a little more privacy, because when they look down from the deck, they will, I know they don't give a hoot that I walk around naked. Nobody wants to see me naked. I don't want to see me naked. But they're going to be up there, and they're going to probably have people because it's a nice deck. And I didn't even know we could see up there to the ocean. So, hooray. but when people are out there, you know, they'll be having a cocktail or a cup of coffee or something, and they'll look around. That's just human nature. So I'd like to preserve some privacy. So that means, you know, moving that deck back a little or the height down a little. And let's see, I think that's it. And planting something besides the dead rat or the rat dead. I don't know, it's some bush they have in Australia, I think. Anyway, I'm not sure what it's called exactly, but it is ugly, and that is ugly. Please don't plant those next to the fence and have them be 8 feet tall. And maybe they'll take them back from the nursery or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I have to say. And thank you. Thank you so much for letting me in. And I'm done.
Thank you for your comment.
Could you state your name?
You're
for
welcome.
the record?
Could you state?
Oh,
your-
by the way, you have my name wrong in here. Somebody has my name wrong. I think they're referring to me as Anastasi, which I like better than Chastain, although they're both good. Where was it? Maybe it was another. You see that somewhere? Stephanie Chastain, it should be. And I think the paperwork says Anastasi. I just found that this morning.
What is your name?
Stephanie is the first name. Second name is, last name is Chastain. C-A, like Jessica, the movie star.
Thank you.
Not related.
Thank you for your comment. I don't
You're
see.
welcome.
I don't see any other. Well, the applicant has her hand raised. Maybe we can let her respond. Okay, could you go ahead, Rashina?
Hi, this is Russia Turner again. And I just wanted to state that we have not purchased any screening plans for this project at this time. Just want to be really clear about that. We have not made any purchases until we get approval from the city, from the planning department as to what exactly would be agreeable and how many of them will be agreeable and on all of those details. So we are waiting to find out through further conversation what would be a good choice. It should be noted that on Ms. Chastain's side of the fence, there is an apple tree that is positioned in front of her window, which is now growing 3 feet above the fence line in some places, and is indeed creating some screening that already is imposing on Ms. Chastain's view of the trees on Prescott, and which would already be in a position where it was going to obstruct some of the sunlight that is able to pass through that window in the morning when the sun rises in the east, as it always does. The eastern direction from that window is still going to be unobstructed should our project move forward as planned. And as I mentioned previously, we are eager and willing to be very cooperative with the city's planning department and with Ms. Chastain regarding what kinds of screening materials can be utilized to ensure that when she looks out that window, that she doesn't actually have to look at anyone's house, that she can just look at some shrubbery or whatever she thinks that might need to be. We are eager and willing to be cooperative and find a solution that will be mutually agreeable. So I just would like to close with the reiteration of the fact that we have not yet purchased any materials for the purpose of screening, because we recognize that that would be premature given that we have not yet reached any sort of proper agreement. So we'll be eagerly awaiting the opportunity to find a solution that will serve the needs that our neighbor has with regard to protecting her privacy. And I'll just close by stating that it seems interesting that she's very concerned about her privacy, and yet she does not have curtains on any of the windows in her home. So it would seem to me that if privacy truly was the heart of the matter here, that installing a curtain or two on the windows in question could be a way to help the neighbor achieve some of her own privacy goals. And so I'll just close with that last remark, and thank you all for the opportunity to express what our side of the situation looks like. Thank you.
Well, thanks for that update. I don't see any other hand raised. Do you, Erica?
There are no hands raised.
Maybe we can close public comment and we'll open to committee comments. Does anybody have any comments?
I'll go ahead and get started. I'll just make 2 quick points here. I feel the plant situation is something the neighbors should work out between themselves, the type of plant. I'm not crazy about either the city or us getting in the business of dictating what plants people put on their properties. If they can work with their neighbors to come up with something that's mutually beneficial, that'd be great. One of staff's findings was that the massing and scale was similar to the existing home. I do somewhat take issue with that. I think the deck does look like a bit of a tack on to the back of the house, not really well integrated with the architecture. That said, it's so far below the height limit and it's conforming with the setback regulations and the height regulations that I'm not sure it's really an issue. There are 2 competing issues from the neighbor. One of them is the view of the trees, the other is privacy, and those are sort of competing in a sense that the privacy would be obtained by possibly creating a solid railing on that side of the deck shared with the neighbor, solid wood slats as opposed to the open guardrail. But that would further block the view. So again, I would almost just defer to the owner and the neighbor to work that out together. But I guess those are my only comments, that we shouldn't be in the business of selecting plants. And while I'm not crazy about the way the deck is tacked onto the existing building, I think it's well within the zoning regulations.
I'd echo similar sentiments. I did have the question about the railing being slightly higher than the peak of the roof. I don't know if it's at all possible just to lower it slightly. That I'm not aware of. If that's an easy fix, but it obviously wouldn't be that much. It would kind of be done in a way to just kind of tip your hat to the neighbor. Similarly, it's within all the regulations. It's in the backyard, so it's not really something that's extremely visible to others. So I think while I'm not in love with it, it's not that much of an issue, as Justin is saying. Regarding the plants, I think I applaud the neighbors for speaking to each other and trying to resolve that. I think that is a good solution. Just I would say please keep that up. I heard something from the neighbor about vines, and so that might be something in combination with what Justin said. Either it's something that's more solid, or is a combination of something that's a thinner plant material, which would be vines. Could possibly create some privacy while not blocking as much light. But again, that is really up to those 2 neighbors to come to a solution that they find appropriate.
Any other comments? Should we move to a motion?
I have a quick question regarding the motion. Oops.
Want to make it?
I just had a question. Chris mentioned that we could put in this that basically they, I guess, are helping the neighbors coordinate their planting. Is that Is that something we need to put into the motion, or are we not doing that?
Yeah, so the current the draft resolution that staff prepared included a condition that would require a minimum 2 landscape plantings. It did not specify the type of plantings, just kind of the size. So I think that the ARC could amend that if you wanted. I mean, I think that the current condition would allow the neighbors to choose an alternative planting, which I'll leave that up to the ARC.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I just agree that we don't. I don't think it's up to us really to be particularly specific on this. I was just curious how you had mentioned that you couldn't coordinate that conversation. I guess I'm just curious how that would happen and if we need to write that into the motion.
No, I mean, they would on their ultimate construction documents, show the new plantings or some sort of explanation that I can add to the record that shows that they've coordinated and decided upon certain plantings. That I'll work with them directly, and if they can't come to a conclusion, I guess we could always reopen the permit and bring it back to the ARC.
I think that, yeah, settles that. Sounds like we would, I don't know, both sign a document or something and turn it back to you and resubmit.
That would work.
Anybody want to try to make a shot at a motion?
Well, I guess I'll go ahead and try. I don't have the permit number, application number in front of me. Maybe staff can give that to me so I can make the motion.
If you want, I'd make a stab at it for you, Justin.
Okay.
Okay, I move that we approve the architectural review permit ARP-22-0031 for preliminary and final architectural review of external alterations at 700 Lobos Street with the conditions outlined in the staff report.
Thanks, Ed. Do we have a second?
I second the motion.
Great. So that was motion by Ed and Justin seconding. Erica, could you please do a roll call?
Sure thing. Chair Bluth,
Aye.
Vice Chair Hunter,
Aye.
Committee Member Ostavar,
Aye.
Committee Member Polly,
Aye.
and Committee Member Schmidt.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries with a vote of 5. Decision is appealable to the Planning Commission within 10 days. We have applications online or in our planning office.
Fantastic. The next public appearance item is 457 Wave Street, APN 001026003000. Permit amendment application PA 226677 to amend architectural review permit 16-443 for preliminary and final architectural view of 3rd story floor area additions and other exterior alterations to 2 3-story residential condominium buildings. Do we have a staff report?
Yes, thank you, Chair. My name is Fernanda Roveri, Principal Planner for the City of Monterey. And yes, the project is located at 457 Wave Street, which is right next to the Antique Mall building at 471 Wave Street. And this is a permit amendment of the original architectural review permit that approved this project. Like I said, the project at 457 Wave Street is adjacent to 471 Wave Street, the Antique Mall building. The zoning is C2 and the general plan land use designation is commercial. The neighborhood is New Monterey. some background. So like I mentioned, this project was previously approved. It required a planning commission approval as well as ARC. And it was to approve 2 3-story residential condominium buildings. The buildings are currently under construction. The building envelope is already built. And the permit amendment request would amend the original ARC permit. The requested amendments are that to add floor area to the 3rd story of each building. The square footage that would be added would subtract some of the deck space. The 3rd story window locations would be revised to accommodate some interior change in the layout of the residential units. And also that to add a rolling security grille to the opening of the garage, which is on the ground floor, and to add glass block for the garage wall openings on the sides. So this is a photo of the current construction. As you can see, those 3rd floor area additions and window changes are already constructed. The security grille and the glass block are not yet constructed. On the left side is the floor plan that was approved by the ARC in 2017, which was the original permit. On the right side is the floor area additions to the 3rd story. Maybe you can't see it, but the location of the bathroom changed. And that's why the extra floor area was needed. It was to accommodate a bathtub at each bathroom, at each level, at the 3rd story level of each building. And so to do that, some of the deck space had to be subtracted. And here are some elevation drawings, just highlighting some of the changes. On the right side, it shows some changes, such as changing some of the French doors to windows or vice versa. And then on the bottom floor is showing the security grille at the garage opening. This is the south elevation. So again, there was a window change on the south elevation. And some windows were removed to accommodate the layout change. The east elevation, some windows were added, and this shows here the addition of floor area on the right-hand side here and here. And then that glass block is shown at the top of the garage wall. And the west elevation also shows some 3rd story floor area additions and window removals. And let's see. And this is a photo of the security grille at the garage opening and the glass block that would go at the top of the side of the garage wall. In order to approve this permit amendment, the ARC must make the ARC findings for approval. The massing of the project is not substantially changing, and it's really only increasing negligibly, just to accommodate that bathtub at each residential unit. And so really the siding form and architectural style are not changing. The proposed project will not unreasonably impair the view's privacy or living environment. Again, the 3rd story floor area additions are negligible. there really are no views that would be impacted. And since the building is being constructed, it's already created a living environment, and the third story floor area additions would not change that. The proposed project is substantially consistent with the Monterey general plan as well as all applicable plans. The Cannery Row Conservation District and Cannery Row Land Use Plan would apply here. And in that plan, there are examples of the industrial warehouse style. And this project was designed to be compatible with that style. The design is contemporary but compatible with the adjacent historic antique mall. And the changes would keep with that style. The proposed finish, colors, materials, and all other exterior features are appropriate, in that the security grille and glass block would complement the industrial warehouse type of building style that is found in the Cannery Row area. Staff's recommendation is to approve preliminary and final architectural review with the 2 special conditions that carried over from the original ARC permit approval. Staff is available for questions, and the applicant is also here if you would like to talk to him.
Thanks, Fernanda. Does anybody on the committee have any questions for Fernanda?
Fernanda, this is a quick question. Can you remind me what the 2 special conditions were for the previous one? I know I was a member of the ARC at the time, but I don't remember this application in particular.
This application was approved in 2017, and I don't believe that you were an ARC member then, Ed, but I can remind everyone of the conditions. So the first one is special condition 1. All proposed planters, including the bioretention planter, require staff approval of individual plants prior to installation, and plants must remain healthy throughout the life of the project. All required plants shall be planted prior to issuance of final building occupancy. And then the second special condition is that exterior light fixtures matching ARC/HPC approved exterior lighting shall be added to the walls on either side of the garage driveway where pedestrians and cars may conflict to enhance safety.
Any other questions for Fernanda?
One quick one. Fernanda, did you mention when you were showing the photographs that some of the changes have already been implemented? And if so, is this a red tag, or I might have misheard that?
I can let the applicant talk about this because he's been the architect throughout the entire process. So he can give you an idea of all the changes or construction and timeline. He can explain.
Okay, but is there a red tag on the project currently, or?
No.
Okay.
Red tag.
Any other questions for Fernanda? Otherwise, we can move to the applicant presentation. Okay, would the applicant like to present? Can you please state your name?
Chair, Commissioners, Paul Davis here. Great, okay. Thank you, Chair. Commissioners, I don't know whether to look just at the chair or the screen. Okay, good. Hi, everybody. Yep, about a year ago, we worked on changes that the client wanted to make on the second story of the townhouse units. And we submitted them along to the planning department and the building department. After review, planning staff got a hold of us, and there was an original condition of approval that required a recording of a parking agreement between the two buildings, and the city had never received a copy of that recorded document. So at that point, the planning application really went on hold. I don't even think it was even accepted at that time. And so at that point, I got that information to the client. I think it was about the end of last year or the first of this year. I found out that document was finally delivered to the planning department. Then about a couple months ago, I was contacted by the client that said they were ready to proceed. And oh, by the way, through a miscommunication, the second floor work had been done. So at that point, they also wanted me to look at the grill and that wall on the east side of the property. So what we did was we resubmitted the application requesting an approval for the work that has been done that we were proposing last year, plus the grill and the glass block. That wall where we were proposing the glass block was scheduled to have, it's about a third of the wall is concrete, and the rest was going to be a full height plaster walls because it is on the property line and has a fire rating. So what these glass blocks do, they have a 2-hour rating to it. And so it's similar to a project that hasn't taken off yet, but on the North Fremont mixed use project, we did the same thing to break up that wall that will be very visible as you drive up on Wave Street. So, so the request is for the additions, which is just for a tub. The second floors are the same floor plan on both units, and we rearranged the second bedroom on the second floor, so that created the window changes. And then the addition now of that grill, which won't have the stone on it, as you see in the image. It'll be a plastered wall. And then the addition of the glass block panels on the west wall, plaster wall infills. Oh, Paul Davis, architect, sorry.
Thanks, Paul. Does anybody from the committee have any questions for Paul? Okay, well, thank you, Paul. That was great information. Erica, could you remind the public again about how to make a comment?
Sure. Once again, to join the meeting from a computer or phone, use the link or phone numbers on the agenda posted at isearchmonterey.org. To join by telephone, dial 833-568-8864, then enter the webinar ID. The webinar ID is 161-914-9563. To provide public comment via Zoom, please use the raise your hand function at the bottom of your screen. To provide comments by phone, dial *9 to raise your hand, then *6 to unmute when called upon. Thank you.
Thanks, Erica. I don't see anybody. Do you?
There are currently no attendees online.
Okay, well, let's close public comment and move to committee discussion. Does anybody have any points they'd like to make about this project?
I don't really, it seems pretty cut and dry.
I agree with Justin. Does somebody like to make a motion?
I'll go ahead and make a motion. I move to approve permit amendment PA-22-0077 to amend architectural review permit 16-443 for preliminary and final architectural review of third-story floor area additions and other exterior alterations to a 3-story residential condominium building at 457 Wave Street.
Thanks, Shelley. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
So that was motioned by Shelley, seconded by Ed. Erica, could you do a roll call for us, please?
Certainly. Chair Bluth,
Aye.
Vice Chair Hunter,
Aye.
Committee Member Ostavar,
Aye.
Committee Member Polly,
Aye.
and Committee Member Schmidt.
Aye.
That motion carries with a vote of 5. The decision is appealable to the Planning Commission. Within 10 days, there are applications online or in our planning office.
Thank you. Fernanda, do you have any reports for us?
Yes, next meeting is going to be a big one. We have 5 items scheduled. And please let us know if you will be absent or if you need to abstain or recuse yourself from any of the items. If you live within 1,000 feet, that's usually when we request that you recuse yourself. So just let me or Erica know. Thank you.
When we,
Fernanda, just with that, I'll go ahead and make my declaration. I will not be attending the next meeting. I'll be traveling overseas and won't be available.
Okay, thank you, Ed.
Just to clarify, that's if you own property or if you're renting within that distance as well.
It's only if you own property within 1,000 feet of any of the items.
Yeah, just clarifying. Thank you.
and when do you think you'll get that list out to us?
Oh, the list of projects?
Yeah. I haven't seen.
It's this list right here on the planning office update. It's packet page 58.
Oh, okay.
Actually, one of the projects, 1300 Munras. I don't think that's going, there's another project, there's a 5th project that is scheduled, but it's not 1300 Munras. I don't remember the address right now.
Can you also please remind me of the date?
It's 165 Via Gayuba.
Sorry, the date
Oh, the date
of
of,
the meeting.
it's June 15th.
15th. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I'll be zooming in. I'll be doing summer camp with my daughters in Bear Valley. So, well, great. Well, thank you, everybody. Why don't we close things up at 5:08. Thank you very much.